Hey guys, what's going on? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in. Um, this is going to be an interesting topic that I'm going to be speaking on today. Want to speak on my honest reaction of landing a job or an engineering job or a field job related to your occupation or your niche in Canada. And this is a really hot topic, and a lot of people are interested to know what it is like to get a job in Canada based on different circumstances, and what is the journey like for each individual. And I'm just going to be talking on my background and my sector, what it was like for me to land a job and how was the journey like. I'm going to give you an honest reaction in this video. It's going to be from my hard work, my commitment, and the failures that I had throughout my journeys, and how I was knocked down more than 100 times, and how I came back, and how I was able to secure a job at the end. So I'll be speaking on this journey on a bullet by bullet basis. I would just want to make sure that I cover all the bullets. If you guys see me looking down, I just have a few bullets that I made so that I can speak on these bullets, and I don't want to miss anything as I speak through. So let's dive in. Expectation before I came into Canada. So before going into the bullet in specific, I just wanted to give you guys a brief about my background at first. So my background is in civil engineering. I did my bachelor's in civil engineering. I did my bachelor's from Kerala Technological University. It's also often known as APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University. It's based out in the province of Kerala, and it's in India. And for the civil engineering program in specific, it had a lot of amazing courses. I should say, a lot of technical courses, a lot of applications, a lot of theoretical papers, and it was stressful, but it was a fun journey, and learned a lot of things. And the main four components that I had within the civil engineering was structural, geotechnical, transportation, and environmental. And out of these main four components, I enjoyed the most for transportation and environmental engineering. But by the final year term, I had to choose between these two components, like which subject I want to do a project or thesis on. I just went with environmental because that was where my heart lied in, and I just wanted to explore more within the environmental sector, and I enjoyed working in that, and I wanted to do that for the next few years of my life, I should say. So that's a bit of background of my education from India. And after completing the bachelor's, I was able to secure a job, basically, but it was nothing related to environmental due to my life circumstances and due to many other things. I was able to secure a job in Bahrain. That's a small island based out in the Middle East, close to Saudi Arabia. And the kind of job that I did was nothing related to environmental. As I mentioned previously, it was more interior designing, civil construction, mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and those kind of components, because that's leading, or that's a main sector that's there in Bahrain, and a lot of projects are based on that. So I was able to get a gig in that, and it was a good job. I enjoyed a lot. I made a lot of connections. I was able to learn a lot of engineering applications in that job. But I should be honest with you guys here. My heart was always in environmental, and I wanted to do something more towards the environmental side of things. And I decided I want to do my master's. And while I was researching where I wanted to do my master's, I had a lot of options in front of my eyes. I had Australia, I had UK, and I had Canada, I had USA, and I had a lot of options. And out of those options, I decided I had to narrow it down to a few options, and I went with Australia at first. The reason why I went with Australia was mainly because of the climate, and they had a lot of amazing universities over there. And I thought I would do my master's in environmental from University of Wollongong at first, but unfortunately, due to the COVID circumstances and the border issues, the borders were locked down, and I wasn't able to go to Australia anymore. So I had to switch my plans, and I had to apply to other universities. And then I decided I would do something from Canada. And Canada, in terms of university, there is only, if I'm not wrong here, I think it's about 18 university that's available in Canada, and I had to choose a few options from here. I went with Western University of Guelph and Carleton, and out of these three, I was able to get an offer from University of Western Ontario, and I decided I would do my master's from University of Western Ontario. And the subject that I specialized in was environmental and water resources, and it was an amazing course. I have to be honest with you guys. It's just a 1-year program when I did it, and it had 3 to 4 subjects in each term, and it was really amazing. I had a lot of amazing professors, and they were able to give me a lot of guidance on the subjects that is relied in the Canadian market, and a lot of applications of softwares, and I was able to learn a few of them and learn the applications of most of them, and I was able to pass, and I was able to get through. So speaking of my background, and speaking of all the educations that I had in place, I had a bachelor's, I had 2 years of experience in the civil sector, not closely, something in the civil sector, but not entirely in environmental. And I have a master's in environmental and water resources engineering. And I thought, I had assumed, I should say, I had assumed that I would secure something so easily like this for a job in Canada. But I had to be honest, I was wrong there. So that came into my reality check that I was really wrong there. My assumptions was completely wrong. That's not how it works over here. I thought applying online would be enough, and I was able to secure a job in the environmental sector so fast, considering the amount of environmental laws and regulations that we have in Canada. I thought it would be an easy journey to secure a job. But that was not the case, guys. It was really frustrated even at that time, especially if you want to secure a job, especially in your niche or your occupation. It's a bit of a struggle. It's a bit of a struggle because especially you're coming from another country, and there is a lot of question marks in place. It can be language, can be one of them. Your competence can be the other one. And are you really ready for the industry? And all these kinds of questions are there within the employer that would cause them a doubt, should I hire this person rather than hiring someone from already in Canada or someone with relevant experience in Canada. So that was a similar case which I had to face, or which I had to go through, similar to anybody who is going in the similar journey right now. So I should say the reality check happened to me. I understood this was not the scenario that I had imagined in back of my mind, or it's going to be a long process, and I had to learn the system. I had to learn the agendas. I had to learn the process to get through this whole job environment. So based on these conditions, and based on these doubts and luring questions that they had, I should say the reality check happened to me. So what happened was, I submitted a lot of applications, lot of emails. I tried to contact the HR manager. I tried a lot of numerous steps, and the reality check happened, because what happened was I was often getting rejected, no response to my applications, ignorance to my emails, and all these things. So when you are in that kind of situation, and especially you being a newcomer to Canada, you don't have a lot of help that you could seek for. In my circumstances, it was like that, because I didn't have a lot of help at that time. I had few mentors that I was able to find through LinkedIn, and someone who was um, senior to me back in my university days. He was able to give me the tips and general steps of how to find a job and things like that. It was me who was really actually figuring it out, what I have to do differently, so that I can get over this step and I can go to the next step, and I can see how I can progress through this ladder and eventually get to the final step and eventually get a job. So this was a really stressful step, guys. This was a really stressful journey that I had to face and I had to go through. And every day I still remember, like, me being frustrated within myself that I have done this much and this much amount of work, or this much and this much amount of applications. So based on these, my first two bullets, basically, the expectation that I had before coming to Canada, and based on those expectations and my assumptions, the reality check that I had to face after coming here, is leading to my third bullet, which is the mistakes that I was actually doing. So the main mistake of what I was actually doing was I was using the same resume to apply for multiple jobs. And I realized the harsh way of rejections and ignoring to my emails and all these things, that I realized that's not the right way to do things over here. So um, it was really frustrating, because I applied for numerous amount of jobs, and like I mentioned, there was always no comments or no response, or no feedback actually I was getting, like, hey, you're doing this wrong, or hey, you're doing this wrong. I know it's not a responsibility of anybody to give me that feedback. It's more of a responsibility of me figuring out through my mistakes of what I have to tweak or what I have to do differently in order to land a job. So that was one of the main mistake of what I was doing. And the second mistake is due to the first mistake actually of what I was doing, the using my same resume for multiple job. Was there is a system called the ATS system that we have in Canada, or the Commonwealth countries, Australia, UK, USA, etc., or for huge corporate firms, that they have to sort out the bulk amount of applicants that they get for a single job. ATS is the full form of ATS is applicant tracking system. So that's something which the corporate world use to refine the resume and find the best applicants that is required for the job. So let's say there is a 500 applicants that is applying to this single job, and out of that they refine maybe 100 resume out of it, and from that 100 resume they might review them all, and they might figure out 15 best applicants out of it, and they schedule interviews with them, and out of those 15 scheduled interview applicants, they choose the best one and they hand over the job offer to them. So so this is a really tough process, and tough stage that you have to crack in order to get to that job line or get to that finish line. So I had to learn it the harsh way, of applying for multiple jobs with one resume. I had was never figuring out what is happening in the background or in the system. And by the time I realized what was ATS system doing, I was a little bit late. But that's all fine. You always learn through your mistakes, and you eventually tweak something, and then you eventually knock on the door and you get that reward eventually. But all it matters, all it always matters, is the consistency that you have to get to something, or get to a point. So leading to my fourth bullet, what I started to change based on the mistakes that I was doing in the past. I started to tweak a lot of things. For example, I started tweaking my resume based on the job applications. Let's say if it is a project management position for civil engineering role, I started adding the key term project management, or maybe even the term management, or even the term project, something that is reliable or that is needed in order to pass through the ATS system, so that my resume can go within that 100 category or 50 category, and get to that interview call. So that was something which I was tweaking in order to get to that first step of line, I should say. That is crossing that ATS system and getting to the HR manager. And the second step that I did was networking. It is one of the most important tool that you need to grow in Canada. You might be an introverted person, you might be an ambivert person, you might be an extrovert person, but if you are an introvert person or an ambivert person just like me, it is very hard if you don't know how to use your networking skills. So I would say your technical skills and interpersonal skills is equally important in Canada. What I meant by that is that we often, as engineers or engineers in training or engineering students, from an international exposure, I'm just talking based on the usual way of thinking from an international student's perspective. What I was thinking is, you have the technical knowledge, then you can crack a job. But that's not the case in Canada. You need to network, you need to get out of your comfort zone, and you need to connect with people. You need to show your relevance in the subject. You need to show, or you need to prove it to them that you're interested for this opportunity, and why you are interested in this opportunity, to get that in within that 15 um, 15 interview people that I mentioned earlier, so that you have that priority in that interview, to show that, hey, we spoke to this guy, and this guy seems to be nice, and this guy seems to be interested in this opportunity, and let's give him a chance. So that's where the important applications of networking happens. So you have to connect, or maybe you have to try connecting with the job poster, or maybe the HR manager in the corresponding company. Mention about the opportunity, why you applied to that opportunity, what interests you, what's the ultimate goal that you have within that job or within that responsibility, how you can change their view or that position, and how you can profit them by doing certain and certain tasks of what you learned in your university days, or through your university days and past international experience. So that's where the real difference happens. So, and I started to do that. I started to communicate with people. I started to get out of my comfort zone, and I was able to um, believe in myself, I should say. I was able to say, what happened has happened. Okay, what happened has happened. Mistakes happens in everybody's life. But if I keep regretting over that mistakes again and again, I'm going to have a full stop, and I'm going to fail like anybody else. But I didn't come to this country for that purpose. I came to this country so that I can win in life, and I can start an earning in life. And it's been a dream for me to become an engineer or engineer in training, so that I can get my license in this country. So I started to work really hard. I started connecting with people, and I started tweaking the things in my resume, and I was eventually able to get my first job in Canada. So, based on all these things that I mentioned earlier, the key lesson that I was able to learn through this journey is that it's not about you being a bad engineer, it's not about you being incompetent when you are applying for a job, or when you're not meeting the requirements. It's about understanding the system, first of all. You might be technically gifted, you might have the technical competence, but there might be some level of interpersonal skills, or level of communications that we lack, coming from a different background and coming from a different culture to a land where That is the system. Basically, you need to have the proper communication skills, and you need to have equivalent amount of technical skills, and you need all the other requirements in order to get that job. You need to be the best out of the best. What I mean by that is you need to be a complete or well-rounded engineering professional in order to crack that. So it's not that you're a bad engineer. It's that you need to work on yourself so that you can compete with the others who is applying along with you, who's been doing this for a long time. And with consistency and patience, it comes to you. That's the guarantee that I want to give you guys. Anybody who's lacking that motivation, with consistency and with proper learning, it will come to you, and it will happen one day. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but it will definitely happen. um, and the other thing is that the job market always wants clarity rather than your capability. It's not just about capability. You might have different sorts of capability and different sorts of understanding in the engineering aspects, but it's about how you explain those things to your interviewers or your corresponding future teammates, of what you can actually bring to the table, or how you're going to interact with them, or how you're going to communicate with them to bring that trust in them, so they would have a feeling, hey, this is the guy that we want for this job, or this is the guy we want for the project that we have in place. And using all these different components, they should evaluate you in such a way that, oh, this guy stands out, and this guy has done his proper research, and this guy knows about the company, this guy knows about the culture, this guy knows how to communicate, he has done his due diligence in reaching out to our HR manager. That sort of steps brings that trust in them to give you an opportunity. And leading to my, we are close, guys. Leading to my almost last bullet, I should say, why I'm sharing this now is that I see a lot of changes in the immigration system in Canada. And a lot of things are changing over here, and a lot of people are struggling to land a field job, or people are being frustrated doing their part-time job as full-time jobs nowadays. Not saying anything disrespectful, or I'm not trying to bring a whole lot of arguments into this video, but I know a lot of people are struggling this, and I wanted to share this with my viewers, that everybody had to go through this journey. I know it's a different situation now. It might be a lot more harder, but everybody who is successful in this country had to go through the same journey, and they had to figure out their way of getting that golden opportunity, I should say. And it's always about landing your first job. When you are new to the country and when you don't have the required Canadian experience, it can be always tough, but it's always getting that first opportunity and making the most out of it, and then things get easier. That's all I want to say. I don't want to say more, but that's all I want to say. And hey, guys, this is just my experience, guys. This is what happened to me, and I just want to be honest here. I'm not trying to fake, or I'm not trying to give you guys any false hopes or anything. It's just my experience, my honest review of landing an engineering job in Canada. I All I want to say is that I was really consistent. I was always working on my resume. I was always reaching out to different people. I was always cold emailing people, and I was able to get my job, or get my first opportunity, and I was able to make the most out of it. So if you guys really enjoyed this video, and if you guys think I did a good job, please subscribe to my channel, and please give me a thumbs up. And if you guys are interested in some subject that I would, or some topics that you would like me to speak on, please comment on my YouTube video, and I would appreciate your comment, and I would give you a content or a topic or a response on that. And hopefully I can bring in more interesting subjects like this, or topics like this in more YouTube videos of mine, and I can be consistent in it. That's all I want to say. And thank you guys, as always. It's been a pleasure speaking of my honest experience of landing an engineering job in Canada, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. And thank you. Have a great week ahead, and God bless you.